You walk through the door. Keys hit the counter. Your dog is already there, tail going, body pressed against your leg, the whole welcome parade. You reach down, scratch behind the ears, say, "Hey buddy." You've done this 1,000 times. But tonight, your dog doesn't settle. They follow you from room to room. They press closer. They put their chin on your knee and just look at you. Because tonight, you came home, but you didn't arrive. Your dog wasn't watching what you did, they were reading something underneath it. A frequency, a neurological signal you didn't know you were broadcasting. 7 moments happen in your house every day that science says matter more than anything else for your bond. You're probably doing most of them. Almost. The gap between almost and all the way in isn't about technique. It's about a frequency your dog has been reading since the day they met you. And today, for the first time, you're going to hear what they've been hearing all along. To understand what your dog is reading, you need to see the 3 layers behind every moment you share with them. The first layer is what you do, the eye contact, the greeting at the door, the walk, the training before meals. This is where most advice stops. Do this, science says it works. And it does, but it's not the whole picture. The second layer is why you do it. Because you read it somewhere, because you want to be a better owner, because you feel guilty about the hours they spend alone. Most of us live here, good intentions, genuine love. But there's a third layer, and this is the one your dog has been reading all along. Not your actions, not your intentions, your neurological state, your cortisol level, your heart rate variability, your oxytocin output, the biological frequency you broadcast every second you're in the room. Your dog doesn't hear your words, they hear your heartbeat change. Almost right means your action is correct, your intention is correct, but your frequency isn't aligned. All the way in means all 3 layers are synchronized, full presence. In our last video, we explored the neural architecture of trust, the structure your bond is built on. Today, we're talking about the signal that flows through that architecture, because structure without signal is an empty building, and signal without structure is noise. Let me show you the 7 moments where this frequency matters most, and what happens when you finally tune in. The first 3 frequencies all share something. They're about being seen, not watched, not observed, seen, without judgment, without the need to perform. A 2019 study from the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna tracked how dogs respond to different qualities of human attention. Dogs whose owners were fully present, not multitasking, not distracted, showed measurably lower cortisol within the first 90 seconds. 90 seconds. That's all it takes for your dog to register that you're actually here. For most of us, this is one of the rarest experiences in human life. Being looked at without someone calculating what you're worth. Being in a room with another heartbeat that doesn't need you to explain yourself. Your dog offers that every single day, if you're present enough to notice. The question isn't whether you're doing it right. It's whether you're here when you do it. The first frequency starts in the quietest moment possible. 2 eyes meeting across the room. The first frequency starts in the quietest moment possible. 2 eyes meeting across the room. In 2015, researchers at Azabu University in Japan brought 30 dog owner pairs into a lab and measured one thing. What happens when a dog and their person simply look at each other? What they found was extraordinary. Oxytocin, the same neurochemical that bonds a mother to her newborn, surged in both the dog and the owner simultaneously. Not one triggering the other, both rising together, a mutual loop. They tested the same interaction with wolves raised by humans from birth. The loop didn't activate at all. This isn't learned behavior. This co-evolved specifically between dogs and us over thousands of years. No other species on Earth triggers this in a human. You're on the couch, phone in hand, half watching something you don't care about. Your dog is across the room. You look up, and they're already looking at you. Not staring, not demanding, just holding space. And something in your chest shifts. Not because of oxytocin theory, but because in that moment, this is the only being in your life who looks at you without wanting you to be different. Your dog doesn't see your failures, your awkwardness, your 3 a.m. anxieties. They see your frequency. And right now, your frequency says, "I'm here." That's enough. Hold soft eye contact for a few seconds instead of glancing away. You're not performing a trick. You're opening a biochemical exchange that no other species on Earth can share with a human. But the frequency goes deeper than eye contact, because your dog isn't just reading your eyes, they're parsing every sound you make. You talk to your dog. Of course you do. Everyone does. But here's what most people don't realize about what's actually happening on the other end. In 2018, researchers at the University of York tested 37 adult dogs with a simple setup. 2 people in a room, one speaking in a high-pitched, dog-directed voice with dog-relevant words, the other speaking in a flat adult tone with random content. The dogs consistently moved toward the first speaker, but only when both elements were present: warm tone and meaningful words. Warm tone alone with irrelevant content? No preference. The combination was everything. And it goes further. A 2016 fMRI study scanned 13 awake, unrestrained dogs and found something remarkable. Dogs process words with a left hemisphere bias, the same lateralization humans use for language. And their reward centers? They activated only when both tone and word carried positive meaning. One without the other didn't register. Think about that. Your dog listens the way you wish people listen to you, catching not just the words, but the frequency behind them. They're not just hearing sound. They're running a dual processing system that checks your words against your emotional signature. And if the two don't match, the reward doesn't fire. That high-pitched voice you'd never use in public, it's doing real neurological work, but only if the words carry meaning, and only if you mean them when you say them. Your voice isn't just sound to your dog, it's the second frequency, and they know when you're broadcasting on all channels and when you're just making noise. And this is where most people stop, but your dog doesn't, because the next frequency happens in a moment most trainers told you to ignore. The next frequency happens in a moment most trainers told you to ignore. For years, the standard advice was simple. When you walk through the door, ignore your dog. Don't reward the excitement. Stay calm. Wait until they settle. A 2021 survey of nearly 2,000 dog owners found the opposite. Owners who deliberately kept their greetings calm and minimal reported worse separation-related behavior, not better. The advice had the cause and effect exactly backwards. And a 2014 study went further. Researchers tested what actually sustains oxytocin after a reunion. Only one condition kept the hormone elevated: physical contact combined with a verbal greeting. Petting alone wasn't enough. Words alone weren't enough. Both, together, in the first few seconds. You walk through the door after the worst day. Everything went wrong. Your dog is there, tail wagging, body wiggling, the whole welcome parade. You reach down, scratch behind the ears, say, "Hey, buddy." But tonight, something is different. Tonight, your dog doesn't settle. They follow you from room to room. They press their body against your leg. Because they can feel it. You came home, but you didn't arrive. Your body walked through the door, but your frequency stayed at the office. Your dog measures reunion in frequency, not in gesture. The difference between "Hey, buddy" on autopilot and "Hey, buddy" with your whole nervous system present. Your dog feels that difference in the first 3 seconds. 3 seconds. That's the window before the hormonal moment passes. Kneel down, use their name, touch them, mean it. Because those 3 seconds are the third frequency, and your dog has been counting every single one. Those first 3 frequencies are about being seen. The next 2 are about something different: being trusted. Most walks are designed around human logistics: distance, pace, efficiency. You pick the route, you set the speed, you decide when to stop. From your dog's perspective, that's more or less an escort. In 2019, researchers split 20 dogs into 2 groups for 2 weeks. One group did structured heel work. The other did nose work, following scent trails, solving olfactory puzzles. Same duration, same handler. At the end, the nose work group tested as measurably more optimistic on a standardized cognitive bias test. The heel work group showed no change at all. Optimism, not just enjoyment, not just stimulation. A fundamental shift in how those dogs interpreted ambiguous situations, because someone trusted them to lead. 2 walks, same route, same dog, same 30 minutes. Walk 1. Phone in hand, your dog pulls toward a bush. You yank the leash, keep moving. Walk 2. Phone in pocket. Your dog pulls toward the same bush. This time, you wait. You watch their nose work. 300 million receptors painting a world you'll never see. And something shifts in the leash. The tension drops. Not just in the leash, in both of you. Olfactory freedom activates the dopamine reward system in a way structured movement simply doesn't. On at least one walk today, follow their nose instead of your route. You'll cover less ground. Your dog will finish in a better emotional state, and so will you. And this trust extends into play, where the next frequency challenges something every dog owner has heard. This trust extends into play, where the next frequency challenges something every dog owner has heard. Never let your dog win at tug of war. If they win, they'll think they're in charge. You've heard it. Maybe you believed it. A lot of people still do. In 2002, researchers tested 14 golden retrievers across 20 sessions. Some where the dog always won, some where the handler always won. They measured dominance behavior, obedient attentiveness, and playfulness before and after. The result? Dominance was completely unaffected by who won, not even slightly. But here's what did change. The most playful dogs showed more focused attention toward their owner after sessions they won. Not less, more. And a follow-up finding made it clearer. When handlers used warm praise during the game, the dog's cortisol dropped afterward. When the same handler used disciplinary tones during the same game, cortisol went up. Play isn't about control, it's about co-regulation. Your dog doesn't need to lose to respect you. They need to feel your joy frequency, and when they feel it, they move closer, not further. Let them win sometimes. Watch what happens to their eyes when they do. That's not dominance, that's delight. And delight is a frequency your dog has been trying to share with you since the first time you picked up a toy. You've been learning how your dog reads your actions. Now let's talk about what happens in the 3 minutes before their meal, when your dog makes a choice that should change how you think about training entirely. In 2016, researchers put 15 dogs into an fMRI scanner, awake, unrestrained, and trained them with 2 symbols. One meant food was coming. The other meant verbal praise from their owner. For most dogs, the caudate nucleus, the brain's reward center, activated equally to both. Food and praise registered at the same neurological level. But for some dogs, the activation to praise was higher than to food. And when those same dogs were given a behavioral choice, run to the food bowl or run to their owner, they chose the owner. Now, compare that to aversive trained dogs. Significantly higher cortisol during sessions, measurably more pessimistic behavior outside the training context, as though the stress was leaking into the rest of their day. You taught your dog to sit before meals. Good practice. But watch what happens in that moment between the command and the food. Your dog isn't just waiting for kibble. They're reading you. The micro-tension in your hand. The split second where your attention is fully, completely on them. That's the real reward. Not the kibble. The frequency of your full attention. Your dog figured this out on day 1. It took you years. 3 minutes before their meal. Easy behaviors. Clear feedback. Their brain registers praise as a primary reward. Not a substitute. Not a consolation prize. A primary reward. It accumulates. And every session where you show up with your whole frequency present is a session that changes the neurochemistry of your bond. You've now seen 6 frequencies. 6 moments where science meets the invisible signal between you and your dog. But the 7th one is different. It requires doing absolutely nothing at all. The 7th frequency requires doing absolutely nothing at all. Researchers took newly sheltered dogs and tested 3 conditions: active petting, interactive play, and passive sitting, a person just being in the room. No touching, no talking, no eye contact. The result should have surprised everyone. Cortisol dropped by nearly the same amount across all 3 conditions. Sitting quietly in the same room, doing nothing, was as effective at reducing a dog's stress as direct physical contact. But a 2025 study with 85 dog owner pairs found something deeper. They tracked cortisol in both dogs and owners over weeks. The variable that most elevated a dog's stress wasn't the owner's long hours. It wasn't a stressful job. It was work-related rumination, the inability to mentally leave work at the door. The dog's stress tracked the owner's mental state, not their schedule. There's a moment, usually around 9 p.m. on a Thursday, nothing special about it, when you finally stop. Stop scrolling. Stop planning tomorrow. Stop replaying what went wrong today. You're just sitting there, not doing anything, not trying to be anything. And that's when your dog does it. They walk over, not excited, not needy, just certain. They put their head on your lap. And for the first time all day, your breathing slows. Not because you decided to relax, because another nervous system just told yours, you can stop now. I am here. That's not a habit. That's a frequency match. This is the moment that changes the whole list. Because every frequency before this one, the eye contact, the voice, the greeting, the walk, the play, the training, they all lead here. To the moment where you stop doing and start being. Your dog has been waiting for this frequency all day. Not your actions, not your intentions, just your presence. Unfiltered, unperforming, unguarded. Once a day, close the tab, put the phone down, and actually be in the room. Your dog is already reading your internal state. The only question is what they're finding. And this is where the list ends. But the truth doesn't. Here's the thing about all 7 of these. There's no expensive equipment, no hour-long protocol, no dramatic overhaul of your routine. It's eye contact held a few seconds longer, a greeting with actual warmth, a walk where you follow them instead of the other way around. But every single one, every study, every data point, every cortisol measurement, they all point to the same thing. Your dog doesn't need you to be perfect. They need you to be present. And here's what no one tells you. You need it too. Every frequency on this list isn't just about how your dog feels your love. It's about what your dog does for a part of you that no human has been able to reach. The eye contact you hold, it's the first time today someone looked at you without wanting you to be different. The silence you share, it's the only moment your nervous system stops scanning for danger. You thought this was about 7 things you're almost doing right. It was about one frequency you forgot you could transmit: presence. Tonight, when you sit down and your dog walks over, puts their head on your knee, and just breathes, hold that moment. Not because science says so, because for the first time today, both of your frequencies are finally saying the same thing. I'm here, and that's enough. If your dog already reads your soul before you speak, you're our people. Leave a paw print in the comments. And if this changed how you see those small moments, subscribe. Because this is just the beginning of what your dog has been trying to tell you.